Hello and welcome to another edition of Bomb3r's Blitz on the College Football Mafia channel. I'm your host, Nathan Bomber Brown. That's me, namesake and all. Welcome to the channel. We appreciate everybody being here. This is in the middle of a big college football day. Moen, I don't know if you caught his live stream earlier, watched his Ohio State give a righteous beatdown to those Wolverines of Michigan. Look, Wolverines are a fantastic team. There's no doubt about it. They are going to be back next year. I think they're going to be definitely in the playoff hunt next year. Their quarterback was something else this year as a true freshman. So if you're a fan of Michigan, you got nothing to hang your head about. This Ohio State team is even better than the one that won the national championship last year. And might not lose a game all season. They might be the first team, I think, to go 15-0. If I did the math right, let's see, 13, 14. No, they might go 16-0, I guess. That would be insane, really. In modern football, how difficult and how violent it is to have something like that pop up is those seasons just are extra special. So if you're Wolverine, you just need to say, this is it. This is the year that Ohio State got us. Nothing to hang your head about. Nothing at all. If you're over one of these guys that's been cheering around the college football playoff, it's just going to get more and more dicey. BYU finishes with a 20-point win, even though Scott Frost at the end, I don't know if you're a BYU fan, watched the end of that game. It was really stupid because Kalani knelt, could have kicked a field goal, could have gone for it on fourth down with 30 seconds to go. Knelt down, gave the ball back to UCF, and what do they do with it? They try to score. They run a couple of gas plays trying to get more points. Come on now. That's just dumb. Scott Frost, you're not making any friends. Kalani's, tipping his hat to you saying, let's move on to next year. It's not a big deal. And for Scott Frost to do stuff like that, and I've heard stories coming into this game and the way that he ran UCF before, he can't do crap like that in modern day football. You will get punished. Coaching is a small circle of friends. And if you're on the outs because you don't get along with the other coaches, they will make you pay. So UCF is, I don't know, they're 5-7. I don't know if they're going to be much better next year. The quarterback looked good today against BYU. I mean, he had a couple good drives. I don't know what UCF's going to do in the future. I'm not sure where they're going to be, but that's not how you're supposed to go out of a season. Anyway, whatever. So BYU wins by 20. Miami won by like 9,000 points. They came out and they're putting a statement, and I'm starting to see a lot of narrative changes out in the world right now where all of a sudden Miami is now getting in instead of Notre Dame. Notre Dame, they're playing the same number of games. I don't think Miami's going to make the championship game unless they backdoor it in the ACC. So why all of a sudden the Miami love? Because Miami's going out and beating people by 40 points? I mean, fine, whatever. It shouldn't be that kind of a game. So anyway, I'm a Miami fan, not a Notre Dame fan. So if you're here to hear me back up Notre Dame, you're not going to, because that's not what I care about, to be honest. So Miami wins big. Ohio State wins big. BYU wins, I don't know, big 20 points anymore. It doesn't seem like a lot, but they did get 20 points over on UCF. Texas Tech took West Virginia to the Woodhouse, man. Just beat them and it was ugly. It was ugly. They had third string in by the end of the game. So Texas Tech's going to be ready going into this next week with the Big 12 championship game. I think that's great. I think it's good for the Big 12. I really question the way that the Big 12 organization has run this year. And I was trying to bring up, I stepped in here and I just threw this show together. I know you'll never guess it, but on a short leash. I didn't put a lot of time into it. I just wanted to get into talking about games that had gone on today, kind of where we're going to be in college football moving forward. I will say this, that Brett Yormark out of nowhere comes out of witness protection last night at the Arizona State game, and all of a sudden, he's like, BYU deserves to be an at-large pick. Just like that. Like, says it almost, they sure do deserve it. and he's proud of the Big 12 where they are, and just how, I mean, it was just asinine, really. He comes out of nowhere. He disappears for 3 weeks. Doesn't say anything for 3 weeks. Comes out of nowhere. Goes to a game that's not even Texas Tech or BYU, which Texas Tech and BYU people, you guys should be keeping score that he didn't come to your games. He went to Arizona State, which was a top 25 matchup, but neither one of those teams is going to the championship game in the Big 12. I think he gets booed if he goes to Provo. So that probably was a tactical decision on his part. But he doesn't go to Texas Tech either. The two teams that have been the champions of the league all season long, and he's nowheresville. He also says he has faith in the playoff committee. Who has faith in the playoff committee? Why would you have faith in them? They've been talking bad about the Big 12 for weeks, if not months. So why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. And I don't know where we're going to be after next weekend. I would like to think that regardless of what the outcome is at the Big 12 championship game, that BYU will get that, 11 or 12. Well, it wouldn't be 11 or 12 because the ACC, it should be 10, I guess, at that point. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Oklahoma and LSU are tied. I'm watching that live. They're in the first half, so that's something. That's a score that everybody's watching. Notre Dame's watching it. Miami's watching the score of that game, and certainly BYU is watching the score of that game. So, any other scores? Anything else you guys want me to start off the show with, and just want to invite everybody to leave your comments and questions. If you want to become a member of the College Football Mafia family, or you want to leave a super chat, which I always read my super chat. So if you come in and you want me to address something for special, make it a super chat, and I'd be happy to read it. Hit the $sign, the little dollar bill next to the comment box, and you can make your donation there. We appreciate those. Helps us keep the lights on. Let's go through some comments to start the show and go for there. I don't know how long I'm going to go. I didn't even know I was going to be doing this show this morning. So I will go as long as you guys want me to stick around, honestly. If this is boring for you, there's nothing for us to talk about, I'm not going to stick around. If you guys do, I don't need to be up here if you guys don't need me to be talking. I'll say that. Stephen Vitt says, hey, Bomber, I'm checking in for a little. Not happy about what the MAC has done. And then I asked him what the MAC had done. And he said it's about the tiebreakers right here. Their tiebreaker system. Tiebreakers for all the conferences are stupid. They really are. You go 8-9 stats deep to determine who gets into a championship game. I don't like any of them, Steven. So I don't know the details on the MACs, but I can only imagine they're as good as any of the others that we've seen. Anyway, Earl Carr in the house, 11-1, baby. We did it, Bomber. Yes, we did, Earl. Made it to the end. 11-1 is an achievement in modern day football. There's no other way to put it. I don't care who you are. And especially playing an A4 conference schedule. If you're in the Mountain West, if you're in the rebuilt Pac-12, you go 11-1, that's okay, fine. You go out and do it against teams that are going to be in the playoff. BYU's got the most wins against teams that are going to go to bowl games, which means most wins over teams that are over 500. I believe that's 6. Maybe it's tied now after today. It might be tied with a couple others. But they were leading all of FBS. And I will get to some funky stats about that in just a little bit. Let me say hi to a few more people. Daniel, the other Gygax. Good to see you, Daniel. Hi, everyone. How you feeling, Daniel? I'm sorry. What happened to your team? This was an ugly year for them. West Virginia. They're going to turn it around next year. It's always next year, Daniel. Earl Carr, unreal, 21-3 the last 2 years under Kalani Sitake. That would be BYU football. And I'm so sorry, Daniel. That was an ugly to watch. Yes, it was. Earl Carr, $2 super chat. 41-21. Next stop, Arlington. Yep. It's a big deal if you're a BYU fan. That's a big, big deal. Get to that championship game. only the third year in the Big 12, and honestly, they could have made it in their second year. Last year, they should have been in, but whatever. Did they score? Sorry, I'm just watching this Oklahoma game. No, he dropped it. Good deal. So third year in a A4 conference, and BYU wins 11 games, goes 11-1 with a true freshman quarterback. Tell me that's not a big deal. Somebody tell me that that's not a big deal, and I'd be happy to argue with you about it because it is a big deal. Caden the Diesel Freak showing up. How about them Buckeyes? Yes, Ohio State is hands down looks the best team in the country. You know who's number 2? Indiana is number 2 in the country. They've taken the spot that has been predominantly Michigan's. The last 2 years sort of supplanted Michigan. That can't be good for Go Blue. So we'll have to see what next year looks like. But yeah, Buckeyes look fantastic. And that game next week could be a track meet. I think Ohio State slows down the Indiana offense, but I don't know. Indiana's offense is next level. I will say that. Kenneth Maynard, good to see you, Kenneth. Kenneth, longstanding member, OG member of the College Football Mafia family. Glad ECU bounced back with a 42-3 win at Florida Atlantic to finish 8-4. Congratulations, Kenneth. ECU did well, and yes, that's another team that BYU beat along the way. But ECU was no fool. No fool this year. The Pirates came out, and they were playing well. Very impressive. Very impressive. 16-0. Caden's done the math. If Ohio State wins out, they are 16-0, and that would be something else. Something else. By the way, thank you so much, Earl, for the $2 super chat. I really appreciate it. Earl's another valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. So is Tim Bruckmiller, who I know this is Big Lubbock's, right? This is Big Lubbock. I'll remember eventually, Tim. Big Lubbock in the house. Texas Tech looked fantastic today, and I'm a fan of Texas Tech. Unfortunately, they had to play BYU. I wish they were playing somebody else, and not for entry into the CFP. But yeah, I'm a big Texas Tech fan. So congratulations, Lubbock. That's fantastic. The other guy, Daniel, again says if LSU pulls off a win after almost losing to Western Kentucky, would show this season is crazy. If LSU beats Oklahoma, it would be it wouldn't be shocking. I will say that, even though Oklahoma's at home, but it will be. Everybody opens their eyes and goes, "Whoa, wait a second. Maybe this SEC isn't all that in a bag of chips." So, Fergie, good to have you here, Fergie. Closing out the Colorado season. I don't know. Have you guys played already, Fergie? I'm not sure. Good day, Bomber. Happy Thanksgiving. Congrats, Cougars. Watch them in person, and Buffs could have clipped them. Prepare for renovation of CU down the studs. Julian Lewis era begins. So, yeah, boy, it's rebuilding year for sure at Colorado. Colorado had some good moments this year. Just couldn't put it all together, frankly. But it's good to have you here, Fergie, and I appreciate all your support for us around here, and thank you so much for being here, and thank you, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family as well. Earl Carr, look at this out of the gate. Earl does a five gifted memberships. A little bit of clap in there. Thank you so much, Earl. Earl is OG, one of my first 5 subs on the whole channel. Earl is, and I appreciate him very, very much. Those 5 gifted memberships go to Sam 8911, who's been around a little while. Hawken, Don in Kansas. Good to have you here back. Don, good to see you. Adamp, right? Adamp, Isaac, Charlin, and Antoine Johnson came in. No, he didn't. Antoine Johnson didn't get membership. He was already a member. Gifted members: Sam, Hawken, Don in Kansas, Adamp, and Isaac Charlin. Make sure you thank the one, the only Earl Carr in the chat so he understands you appreciate his gifts. It's really nice to him give those memberships out. And I would say to this, if you received a membership and you want to give somebody else a membership to this College Football Mafia family that we do stuff around here, feel free to do that. Just hit the dollar bill next to the comment section, and you will become a new member. All right. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Earl. Appreciate it. Now, I'm not seeing a lot of shout outs. So Don and Hawken, you guys got to say hello and thank you to Earl. Come on, guys. All right. Antoine Johnson is in here. Antoine with the ASU, who lost Arizona yesterday. That was a good game. It was a fun game to watch. If BYU gets blown out, does that give the CFP a reason to leave BYU out? I think the best scenario is a close loss or win. Congrats, Tech and BYU. And I agree with you, Antoine. Yes, I think that's very important. BYU needs to at least keep it a game. Even at the end, if they get beat by an extra touchdown because the end is being closed out, if they can keep it close through 3/4, I think that's enough. I really do. But they cannot go into Arlington and get blown out by Texas Tech. Cannot do it. Cannot do it. And I don't know. I've gone back and forth. Injuries have caught up with Cougars for sure. There was a few dings that happened today against UCF. UCF, I don't want to call anybody out as playing dirty, but UCF seemed to be playing over exuberant today. And there were some hits that I thought were like, I don't know about that. But long and short of it is, they're going in. They rested some guys last night, going into this game that didn't play. And we'll have to see if they can come back. I think they can. I think BYU has it in them to keep it close. But it's going to come down to how much pressure and what Bear Bachmeier can do with the pressure, right? Last time they played, he kind of folded under pressure. He got off to a bad start. They had an early, ugly turnover that sort of got them on their heels right at the beginning. We need BYU to get out, play smart, and play fast at the beginning of the game. Yeah, we'll be talking about that later this next week. We will preview that game in total. But I appreciate the comment, Antoine, and it'll be fun to see. I'm looking forward to the game. The game's been a foregone conclusion for weeks. BYU just had to get through the end of the season to get there. And Antoine also says I should be too disappointed ASU. Shouldn't be too disappointed ASU went 8-4 with Jeff Sims. I think that's what he's saying. The defense gave us a chance last night. Yeah, right. Shouldn't. Yeah, I mean, losing your NFL ready quarterback, that's always going to cost you. The one time you came in and played well with him, you beat Texas Tech. So ASU is not going anywhere, anybody. If anybody's expecting the season to turn next year where finally everything's going to catch up with ASU, I don't think that's going to happen. I think ASU is a permanent 8-4, 9-3 brand in the Big 12. Top third of the conference, top brand in a conference that's very, very close. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. All right. No more comments. So I'm going to get to a couple things that were posted last night. Give me 1 second here. So I bookmarked a couple things from last night. If I can find bookmarks, there we go. So I'm going to bring this up, and we're going to run through this really quick. Okay, so I want to show everybody. Now, this was last night. This hasn't been updated. This is even better for BYU going off the win today. But we'll just call it what it is here. Let's see. Window. If we go entire screen, and we go here, and we go. We go here. Why is it doing that? No. I don't know. Wait a second. I'm sorry. That is really weird. It keeps shifting on me. So I want it to do something else. I apologize, everybody. Let me see if I can find it this way. Let's do this. And then let's go this way. Share this tab instead. Okay, here we go. All right. So here we go. Let's talk about this. Devil Frog in the house, man. Where you been, brother? Where have you been? I'll get to your comment in just a little bit. So let's look at this. This came out last night. I'm trying to remember who actually posted it. I got it from Torres. Maybe Torres did this. Maybe Aaron Torres did this. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. This comparison is a great example of what we've all been saying. Put the Cougars in the playoffs. So I don't know that he made this. I think somebody else might have made this. So I don't want to say that Aaron did it, but I will, because I don't have the original tweet. I will put the link so you guys can look at it yourselves. Let's quickly review this thing. So if we go resume comparison, as we talk about at-large bids, okay? If you go to opponent winning percentage, BYU's been third highest in the entire country. Now it's going to move a little bit today. because UCF was 5-7 final, and it's going to move a little. But regardless, they're way at the top for their opponent's win percentage. Then if you go to for strength of schedule, you go strength of schedule, you go BYU 6th. Out of all the teams that could be compared for the college football playoff, BYU 6th, right behind Oregon. Okay. Then you go again and you say, what's the strength of record, right? Those are the two things the SEC insisted we add to the CFP this year that weren't included last year. Well, weren't included explicitly. BYU 6th again in strength of record. So strength of schedule and strength of record, BYU still in the top half of all the teams that could be considered for an at-large spot. And then the last thing is wins versus college football top 25 teams. This is going to go up. BYU is actually going to go up one. Because I think either TCU, I think one other Big 12 team is going to get into the top 25 by this next week. So I think that's going to go to 3. So even if nothing else changes, BYU's still in the top third of that. So this crap about the CFP committee saying, well, BYU hasn't played anybody, and that's not what these stats say. These stats say the exact opposite. Lane Kiffin's behind. His mighty Ole Miss is behind on all 5 of these stats. So I don't know. I'm just tired of the conversation saying BYU doesn't deserve it. It's absolute nonsense. And I think it will come down to how they look next week. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Let's get to some more comments here. Well, we've been having new people come in. Appreciate that. So Devil Frog checking in saying BYU needs to avoid a blowout in order for the Big 12 to have an argument for 3 playoffs teams. I think Utah's out. The last 2 weeks, they have shown an inability to run the ball. I mean, an inability to run the ball. Like I don't think I've ever seen Kyle Whittingham team look like they've looked the last 2 weeks. I don't understand what they've been doing on the offensive and defensive lines. They score points, but man, they're giving up long runs and, giving up 300-400 yards on the ground. Come on, what's going on there? I have a feeling I know why. Everybody want to hear my conspiracy theory about Utah right now? My conspiracy theory is that Kyle Whittingham's already told his team 3 weeks ago that this was his last year. I think he told his team this, and I think that he basically said, go out and play for Morgan Scalley, who's the coach in waiting, right? And the team fell apart. Morgan Scalley has had this weight put on his shoulders, and I think the team shows it. They better get a good bowl draw, because whoever comes to play Utah in that bowl game is coming for blood. They're going to want to win that game because Utah is going to be 1 or 2 out of the CFP. So whoever they play, they're going to come for blood. And then if Utah doesn't know what they're doing, they're going to get run up and down. And they'll lose that game. And it'll be a horrible way for Kyle to go out. So that's the reason I think I don't have any inside information. That's the reason. But that's my guess right there. Fergie says Arizona is my surprise of the year, along with the struggles of the Kansas schools. Yeah, the whole state of Kansas, right? I agree with you, Fergie. You're right. BYU is greater than TCU is greater than SMU. Everybody better. The whole Big 12 is better than SMU. Devil Frog. There's no doubt. But BYU did beat TCU. TCU is a very good team. Very, very good. They had a bit of a down year. I think they have the skill positions to bounce back next year. It'll just depend on how the offseason goes. If they lose players or win players back. Sorry, I'm chewing on my gummies here. All right, let's see what else. Devil Frog, yeah, winner of Cincy TCU probably gets ranked. Yeah, that's what it was. Thank you for bringing that up, Devil Frog. I knew there was going to be one more team going to be in there. And that was cemented when Arizona won last night because BYU didn't beat ASU. They didn't play this year. All right, Daniel. Fergie, I thought ISU would win the Big 12. Then the Cyclones got injured. Yeah, ISU. Let me put these down. To all of you OG, and I know I've got a bunch of you, Hateful Eight members of the Big 12, for all of you. Tell me how you're feeling right now with the way that the Big 12 is going with who's sort of rising to the top of the conference. So 2 years in a row, BYU's done it. ASU's done it. Now Arizona's stepping up. Colorado is, I kind of count as an old Big 12 school, so I don't know if I'd put Colorado in there. But, I mean, look, Kansas State, Iowa State have got to come back strong next year. Just have to. And I want everybody to win. There's only a few schools I don't want to win in the Big 12, especially if you're not playing BYU. So that's a concern. If you're old school Hateful Eight program, how do you feel about how the Big 12 is looking right now? Now Texas Tech stepped up; they're a Hateful Eight member, right? Texas Tech has stepped up and they've tried to fill that void. But what does Texas Tech have? Nobody else but BYU and Colorado has. Massive amounts of NIL money. Massive amounts. I guess ASU does too. They've proven it over in the last offseason. I got to give Antoine's probably sitting there yelling at his computer screen. ASU has done it too. But I don't know. I don't know what this conference is going to look like in another 2 years from who keeps winning. Utah, I would say for sure would be in the top part of the conference. If I'm a Utah fan, the way the end of this season has gone, I would be really concerned. If everything's been turned over to Morgan Scalley, and this is the kind of effort they get out of a team that wanted to compete for the CFB, they have not looked good. So I'm not bagging on Utah at all. If you're a Utah fan watching right now, this is not bagging on Utah. I'm asking an open question. Where does Utah go from here? Because if Kyle's gone, and I think he is, what is this team? How does it respond? I don't know. Mark Bowman in the house. Good to have you here, Mark. Thank you so much. $10 super chat. I love Mark coming in here. When Kirk Ferentz retires at Iowa, I would like to see Jake Dickert of Wake as the coach. I like that pick. Mark, I like it. Jake has actually done pretty well at Wake. They've won some games, more games than I thought they were going to win. That's not a bad pick. I like it. Kirk Ferentz needs to retire like 5 minutes ago. I don't understand him sticking around. He's just killing his team. Look around. All the coaches that were 20 years plus going to be gone, run out of the game. It's pretty much Kirk Ferentz and Clemson, dude. The old school guys, right? Been at the same school forever. They're the only ones that really are left. Once Kyle leaves, I don't know why Kirk Ferentz does it. I mean, is he wanting to win a national championship? Because if that's what he's waiting for, I don't think that's ever going to happen with the way that he's built his teams. I don't see that. Mark, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. It's great to see you here. Mark's also a valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. You know how you know that? You see that little S symbol next to Mark's name? That represents paid member, and we appreciate him. Thank you so much, Mark, for your loyalty and being with us as long as you have. I really, really appreciate it. Devil Frog says, yeah, Arizona, UH, and Utah were the surprises of the Big 12 this season. Utah took an offense that was G6 offense last year and won 10 games in the A4 with it. Is it enough for them to stay relevant and hot? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But Arizona has pulled their way back. Arizona could lose their coach. There's rumors their coach could be at UCLA in the offseason. Could you imagine that? Arizona finally gets his head up again after losing their coach 2 years ago and go through it again? Brennan, does he leave Tucson? That would be a gut punch for Arizona. You guys got to pay him whatever he wants to keep him in Tucson. Fergie, agreed, Daniel. Iowa State was a crazy up and down situation all season, but Arizona overperformed and the Kansas schools scuffled. Yeah, I like that. Devil Frog, I don't think there are tiers yet. 5 different conference champ in as many years is not a bad thing. I don't disagree, Devil Frog. I don't disagree. And we've said that, right? We've said that the Big 12 is the most balanced conference, and it does have the most teams that can compete at the top. But we're starting to see a little bit of a separation, a little. But I agree with you. It's not yet. I like the word "yet" that you put in there. Fergie says Big 12 needs stability and money. Yep. And they need Colorado to come back and start winning some games. Fergie, can you get that done, please? Daniel Gygax, I just want stability in the Big 12. I don't care who steps up. Just need to find a way to keep up with the other P4 conferences. Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad thought. You know, it is a race. It's an arms race. Big 12's done well so far. Last year we got screwed of a second. And this year it might happen again. Might get screwed again. Devil Frog, Big 12 is fine, but the ACC and by default, Notre Dame is in trouble. Let's talk about that one for a second. So Notre Dame, they don't have a championship to play for, right? They're done. I don't know if they are already done today or not. I don't know when they play or if they've already played. Can somebody give me an update on Notre Dame? But let's just assume they win. I can't remember who they played last game. It's Stanford. They play Stanford. I think it's tonight, actually. They play Stanford tonight at like midnight o'clock or something, some crazy time. Oklahoma and LSU is 4 minutes left in the first half, and they're still tied at 3. So LSU's come to play. If Notre Dame finishes 10-2, which we think they will, and Miami has already finished 10-2 and doesn't make the ACC championship game, I would take Miami in a heartbeat. And the reason I take Miami is because they beat Notre Dame. I don't care when they beat them. I don't care if it was the first week of the season. None of that matters to me. Miami beat them. So if there's only 2 teams you're comparing, Miami and Notre Dame, you got to take Miami. Now, if that's the case, then any Miami team that you take would be at the back end of the 12 teams. And I don't think Miami makes it if an ACC team gets in, and it's not Miami. So I don't think either Notre Dame or Miami might get a spot. They both might end up on the outside, depending on who wins the ACC and how they look. That could happen. The way the unbalanced schedules work without divisions, without teams playing the same teams over and over and over again, you end up with this crappy unbalanced schedules, and these teams don't play each other. And it doesn't help that Florida State and Clemson completely blew the whole thing up by not playing well this season. So, yeah. Anyway, ACC gets 1 team in. Yeah, I'm sure that's probably true. They probably do. Let's get to some more comments here. I already did that one. Let's see. Daniel earlier said, I'm glad the West Virginia Texas Tech game was buried in the schedule. That was bad. It was bad. It was bad. All I saw was the final score, and I was like, oof. Yeah. Was that on TNT, Daniel? Was your game on TNT? That's why I didn't see it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a good choice not to put them on television. Stephen Vitt, let's see. The MAC threw out direct head-to-head wins against teams. Okay, that's stupid. Why do they get rid of head-to-head? In a 3-team tie scenario and skip to win percentage versus all common opponents. Ohio and Toledo beat Miami, Ohio, but Miami of Ohio gets in because of that win percentage. Why do you throw out head-to-head wins? That's stupid. There has to be a way head-to-head wins can keep their priority. Has to be able to do it. Fergie, yes, Bomber. Reality of staffing choices at CU Colorado will be rectified. Coach Sanders has to copy Sataki's model and build a long-term program, not a yearly flash. Wasted a year, but nice young core. That's stay positive. Stay positive, Fergie. Yep, that's good. Stay positive. I'm on the positive track for West Virginia. I think they're going to be okay. Or sorry, not West Virginia, Colorado. I was in between two comments. I think Colorado can come back. You obviously can recruit at a high level. You just have to coach them up. This is not good. I didn't realize this. Daniel says they played on ESPN. Yikes. Yeah, that's not good. I mean, it made Texas Tech look good, I guess, but that's not good. What choice did they have? BYU was playing a 5-6 UCF. Daniel, if you're looking at what they could have put up against the game, Michigan, Ohio State, who's going to be the sacrificial lambs? They put BYU and Texas Tech up because, one, they were 99% sure they were going to win those games, and two, it's like a surrender pose that they do in yoga, right? What's it called? Surrender Cobra? That's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. All right. Half hour into this, I've done about all the gloating I needed to. Do you have any other questions or comments you guys want to talk about? Didn't mean to take a ton of time this afternoon, but I'll certainly stick around if you guys have more comments you want me to address. How about this? If I open up the phone lines, who wants to call me? That's a better question. I'll do phone calls if you guys say yes in comments right now. If a bunch of you want me to do calls, I will. If not, then we can shut this down early. It's not a big deal. I just wanted to gloat a little bit. And if you're a Texas Tech fan, Big Lubbock, you have got to send me a Texas Tech flag. I've got to get a Texas Tech flag that I can put up next week. It'll be BYU, Texas Tech behind me. So I'm still waiting for somebody from Tech to send me a flag. All right. I guess not. Nobody wants to do calls, so we are going to check out early. I appreciate everybody coming on just for a little bit to catch me gloating at the end of a very difficult Big 12 schedule, and it was difficult. I'm glad BYU made it through. I'm glad Tech is playing well. We will have a good, I think, Big 12 championship game. All I will say is this. Jay Hill's defense, he's much better given time to scheme against. So if Tech, and I don't think Tech's going to do this, but if Tech doesn't change a lot and just goes vanilla and just wants to beat BYU the same way they did before, that's probably not smart. They probably need to come with something different on offense because Jay will do much, I want to say much better, but certainly greater adjustments than he did in the first game. And I do believe Bear's playing better than he was when we were playing against Tech. So that'll be next Saturday morning, unfortunately. I hate these early morning games. They're the worst. So early morning next week, I'll have at least one show during this coming week where we'll be talking about previews for all the championship games, probably a couple. Look forward to. I would just assume I'm going to be doing mine on Tuesday. So look forward to Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the College Football Mafia channel. And I will go through and I will do everything I can to cover all of the championship games. Certainly the A4 championship games. And maybe there's an intriguing G6 championship game we could talk about too. That's possible. I haven't looked at who the roster is going to be, but it's possible there might be some G6 games we could talk about as well. Caden, the Diesel Freak, who has been a member for 1 month. Thank you so much, Caden, for sticking around with us. 12-0, and I'm ready for another national championship, and I want to play either BYU or Texas Tech or Ole Miss. Well, how about this, Caden? I would love to be beat up by Ohio State. Not really. I would prefer not to play Ohio State, but I think it would be awesome to have BYU make the tournament and get to that second round because Ohio State's definitely going to get the bye this year. So it'll be that second round. So if BYU can get to Ohio State, I'll actually feel pretty good about that. That'd be a winning season. So, all right. Is there anything else? I've moved stuff around, Daniel. I put it up and I move it around. What happened to West Virginia flag? I have it, but I have 39 other flags too. I worked through them. It's not gone anywhere, I promise you. Still here. All right. I got to go. Everybody have a great day. Have a great evening on this Saturday, the last Saturday of the college football season. And just do everything you can to support your family. Hugs, kisses, send them a message, call them, let them know you care about them. And I want to encourage you doing that. All right. Big 12 championship game this week. BYU TU. That would be Texas Tech. Saturday morning next week. We will preview games on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we'll talk to you guys next weekend. All right? Okay, everybody stay out of trouble. I appreciate everything you do for us, and I appreciate spending some time with you this afternoon. Everybody stay out of trouble. We will talk to you soon, all right? Go Cougs. Peace out.